So we will start it, and hopefully some more ladies will come in, including some of the ladies from the Philippines. So normally this year we've had a different speaker each month to share how their job or what they do or their passion rolls into birth work and ministry in birth work, and how they get to share the gospel and love on women. And I thought it would be a great month to be able to talk about the Philippine trip and to catch some people up. And then I have some teammates here, and then hopefully some ladies from the Philippines will join as well to give you their perspective from the other side. So you pretty much all know who I am, but I want to introduce you to Melissa and to Shelby. So we had three other instructors, and then Gabriella, but Gabriella couldn't be here tonight. She works at a teen residential home, and she works generally like at night, like into the evenings. And so she's not with us today. But the other two ladies are. So I want to hear from them, since obviously I can tell you all the great things about the trips that I love, and this is why I do it. But so I'm here to answer questions, but I really want Melissa and Shelby to share. And then I'm hoping that Alan, she's a midwife in like more rural the Philippines, like not where we were in Manila. And then there's Rona, who is a midwife in a lower income like suburb of Manila. So I'm hoping both of those ladies can join us tonight. They were we had at least one, two, three, four other. So at least 6 of our 27 students were midwives, maybe a few more. And then we had several that were doulas, several that were expats that were doulas, and then 3 or 4 local doulas. And then some other ladies who just worked with expecting moms and wanted to learn more. We even had, I believe, a few EMTs from the clinic that are females who wanted to learn more as well. So yeah. So Melissa, why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are, and I guess why you wanted to go on the trip?
That's kind of hard for me to do because I don't really have I don't know, not very good at talking. But anyways, so I am a mom of 6 children. What?
You are
It
great at
is,
talking. Go ahead.
well, I am about like breastfeeding and stuff like that, but just myself, not really. Um, so I'm a mom of 6, and you'll probably hear them in the background anytime I have my muted off, so it'll be muted when I'm not talking. But I have 6 children ages from 18 months or 20 months now to she's 16, she'll be 17 this year. And I breastfed all of my babies, and they were all home births. And um, I had my first birth was I had a pretty difficult, I mean, it wouldn't be considered difficult. Like it was like 27 hours, but she was posterior. And my midwife didn't really, at the time, didn't really not care about position. She just wanted it to be head down, and then that was all she cared about. My baby was 9 pounds, and she tried to be born with both of her hands up by her head, and she was posterior. So I had a really difficult labor. I felt like it was just like, I mean, I've been at more difficult labors than that, but I wasn't prepared for that. So after that, I thought, you know what, I am going to find out why this happened. And that's when my studying started. So that would have been in 2007. And I attended my first birth in 2008, almost a little more than exactly a year after my first baby. And I determined that I was going to help moms not have the same kind of first birth that I did. And I was very determined. All of the rest of my labors were actually very easy. I've had most of them were 2 hours or less after that. So I feel like I accomplished that for myself, and it's been my passion to help others with that as well. So when I'm on the midwives group, and when Shanna sent out the announcement that she was looking for people to go to the Philippines, I thought, well, I've been to the Philippines as a missionary. I have been there, I don't know, 6, 8 times, maybe more, with my family. One time we lived there for a year. So when I saw that, I was like, oh, I wonder if there's any possibility that I could actually be a part of that. So I texted her without actually, or I emailed her without actually thinking she would ever reply to me. And she did. And I was like, oh, this is so neat, because I actually was going to get to maybe go to the Philippines. And then it turned up that I had a due date right at the time that they were going to go in January, our first time. And I was like, oh, this is terrible. And then we switched it to January, or to March, which was great. And then I got another due date, but unfortunately that mom miscarried and I was still able to go. But anyways, I don't know. That's how I ended up in the Philippines with Shanna. I think we had a pretty great time. It was I was glad to be back in the Philippines just to be able to see the Filipinos again. I think they're some of the most sweetest and um, benevolent, and they just absolutely love um, learning. And you can feel that when they're watching you, and when they're just soaking up everything that you have to say. And so I really, really, really enjoyed going.
The funny thing is
That
that I'm texting Rona back. She's like, "What time is it here there? Like, when am I supposed to get on?" I'm like, "Right now." Um, Melissa saw that on it, like I guess it's considered maybe an international page, but it's mostly US based, but it's people everywhere. But she only lives an hour away from me actually. So her and then Gabriella, who isn't on, she lives about 45 minutes away from me, but in a different direction. And we actually got to all three meet prior to the trip, which is the first time that I've got to meet everyone on the team before we went. So Shelby also had come here and I had met her the summer before. And so I actually got to meet all the teammates before. My other trips, we've all met in the airport in transit. So it was really cool that like Melissa and Gabriella are like still really fairly close. So they're going to come on June 8th, hopefully. And yeah, so we still get to see each other in that sense. So it was funny that like we've never met before. We have so much like mutual people and mutual like things because we live close enough to each other. But yeah, we didn't meet from proximity. We met from a random page that like had nothing to do with location. So it was really cool that Melissa found me. And I tried to, I don't know, I try to email everybody back and text everybody back. But so that's funny that you thought I wouldn't. But now that I know that I could have avoided all that time with Melissa if I just want to return that email. No, just kidding. Shelby, tell us a little bit about you.
Yeah, well, I came across Shanna's organization just from, I don't know, algorithms and the Lord's guidance. Because I was looking for a Christian based, just faith led doula program. And that was last year around about this time. And I contacted her and just let her know that, I'd love to meet her in person. And then about 6 months passed. I think that's when you were starting to plan the Philippines trip. And that's something that God also placed on my heart, is to go on a mission trip, because I have never been on a mission trip at all. And it's been quite a few years since I've been able to get out of the country. I had so many health issues. I was healing from a pretty bad accident that gave me a lot of just medical pileups. So it was a blessing that God just delivered me from all that. Um, as far as doula work goes, my heart was really searching for just answers, because God really revealed to me that there were a lot of curses like in my family bloodline. And I think that that's kind of the heart of doula work, is helping women release that trauma, like intergenerational trauma. And the fact that, this is such a Shanna's organization, you're recognizing this. It's one of the many revelations that God's giving through us as women. And so it was just really awesome to be a part of this past trip.
Oh, So Shelby did come and meet me in person, and she did an in-person training. She's from Kansas City, so she's the farthest anyone's ever come to do my training. So that was really cool. And yeah, it was also cool to be, I have my window open somewhere. Part of her first time going overseas on a missions trip like that, and getting to see, it was kind of like it was kind of like, taking your kid to somewhere really cool that you've been before and just watching them enjoy it, like watching Shelby and Melissa, since Melissa's like lived there and been there, she was like an expert. But like, so for us to be able to watch Shelby, it was such a joy to like see her like see all these things and experience all these things and do all these things. And she was like a real go-getter, because I was like, I don't know, like I would be super nervous to travel around the world by myself. Like I would be like, I don't know. And Shelby's like, yeah, I'll go do this thing. And yeah, I'll go do that. Like she was just like, I'll do everything. And so she was awesome. And Shelby had teaching experience. She teaches Pilates. And so she's taught. Melissa is a teacher at her school, but has never taught, like an adult group as big as ours and stuff. So everyone had a growing process for sure. So it was neat to see that. Melissa keeps saying she's not good at talking about herself or teaching or whatever she wants to say, but none of that was true. So you could really like see her once she got past that like nervousness. She was just like blah 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 blah, because she just loves birth, and everyone loved having her share those passions that the Lord has given to her. So she's a traditional midwife. So she had never taken a doula course. So she was learning some doula tricks as well along the way, hopefully. And yeah, and then Gobs, she took the doula training online, but I had not met her in person until we got together for the team. And she had been on one other trip to Japan prior to this, but she had never been to the Philippines before. So yeah, so it was really great to have the whole team. And then we met a few local doulas who also shared later in the week some of those things. And then we had these two midwives. Again, they're from like two different places. I don't think they'd ever met each other before. Two very like awesome ladies, just very different. And they helped kind of like fill us in on how they do things in the Philippines and what that looks like. And they just have very different practices. So it was always like this growing experience of like learning from them and the community of like how they do this here and how they do that here, and then how we do it, and then how can we all work together to do birth better and support, growing families even better. So it was a dual learning experience, I think, for everybody. Like I said, I've had these trips before. We've never had midwives ever attend, and I'm not a midwife. So it was a little intimidating, but they were super helpful and being able to take in what they didn't know and then also share what they did know. And so I think everybody got a lot out of it. And we had a nurse as well, and she was from New Zealand. Is that right? And she stayed for the whole week too. So it must have been fun enough and interesting enough that she sat through a whole week of things as well. So I know she learned some things that they've never, she's never learned as a nurse in New Zealand, but she was there on mission and working with one of the midwives and attending births as well. So what our training normally looks like online or in person is 2 days or 16 hours of class. But when we go overseas, we try to give them what I call more of a full circle, full care doula. So they get birth, postpartum, lactation, a little bit of bereavement, just like we touch on bereavement. Shelby brought in like Pilates and breathing and relaxation. So we kind of bring in whatever everybody has and brings to the table. And then Gobs did our morning devotionals and prayer and things like that as well. And so they get a whole lot of different things, not just birth. We try to give them all of the things so that they feel like they have a good foundation to go out there and start, because they can't obviously take a birth training and we can't go back next week, and give them another training. So we try to give them a jam-packed week full of as much information as we can give them. And we got to do that in English this time. We have had translators in the past for different languages, depending on where we're at, but this was in English. So there a lot of conversation, a lot of activities, a lot to jam into that week. We also had a lot of changes, which in missions and international, it's always being flexible. So where we thought we were going to teach, we could not teach when we got there. So we actually got a better, bigger facility. But then that came with sound and video and all these things that always give me trouble. And so there were some technical difficulties, but we got a bigger space, and so that worked out, and same proximity basically. And so there's always like new things happening when we do these trips that we don't, have plans for. And then I made a really big oops later on with a flight issue. I scheduled an AM flight that was supposed to be like an afternoon flight, and so it was a 4:30 AM flight when I thought it was a 4:30 PM flight. So that gave me some stress, and we had to buy new tickets. But the Lord was really faithful in this trip, and so yeah. Melissa, what was your favorite part?
Like of the whole trip, you mean?
Yeah.
I think watching everybody enjoy and interact and talk between themselves, even like, I don't know, watching them learn, like some of them were there and they didn't know anything, and then knowing that you were helping them have a better experience or helping them understand the physiology of birth and of how a woman's body works. Many of them were just, I mean, some of them were there from experience, but some of them weren't. And it was just amazing to watch their knowledge fulfill. And yeah, I think that was my favorite part. Were you expecting me to really
Yeah,
expound?
yeah. No, I'm just kidding. I'm trying to give Rona the link. Shelby, what was your favorite part?
I'd have to agree with Melissa. I mean, just being able to hear everyone's collaboration. Uh, it just felt like community, I think, was the main, just, I don't know. I really enjoyed the community of all the sisters, and I felt I was still there to learn. I've only been present for 2 births, so I also went into this as a learning experience attached with, Pilates and breath work. So um, hearing everyone's testimonies and getting to learn the Filipino culture, um, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
it's a hard question to answer.
Shelby did a lot of like study. She was like learning some of the language, and she knew some of the history, and she was like on top of it. So she was letting us know all the information, and you didn't really get to use much of the language though, but you did when you got to talk to the kids and stuff, right?
Yeah, I felt like in Manila, their main dialect was Tagalog, but then when we hopped over, when you took us all to Davao, they spoke a different dialect, and it was in Visayan. So I was like, huh, I didn't even know that there were different dialects with every island.
And even on certain islands, there's multiple dialects. But yeah, they seem to kind of know multiple ones. I think Alan was telling me she knows like 5 languages fluently, plus English, plus something else. And I was just like, wow, okay. I know us Americans who don't have all those languages, but yeah. So we did the week long with a ministry called Kids International, and part of Kids International's Hope Alive Clinic. And so through them, we stayed there. We got 3 meals a day, and got to meet other teams while we were there. And then we went and did our training during the week. And then after our week was done, we hopped planes to another island, to Davao, and then we saw Mercy Maternity Center, which is connected to New Life School of Midwifery, International School of Midwifery. And a lot of people know what New Life is. It's this really awesome midwifery program overseas that the US recognizes. And so it's very unique in what it does. And so we went over there and we got to see how they do things. And they had sent 2 of their midwives to the training. And so we got to go back there and kind of see how they do what they do. And then some really exciting things happened right after we left. The government lifted some restrictions. One being that you had to go to a government hospital for your first baby and babies 5 and beyond. And they lifted that right after we left. So now first time moms can go to birthing centers, which has never been done, right, in the history of them, I don't think. And then Mercy Maternity Center in Davao started having water births. So they got a birth tub, and they like a week after we left did their first water birth. So they're now doing water birth over there. One of the midwives, another midwife, her name is Alan, and I hope she jumps on here, but Alan has done, she actually is called Davao Water Birth, I think is the name of her midwifery practice. So she's been practicing water birth for a while as well. And we'll get Rona some water births soon, right, Rona? Like, you want a birth tub, I'll send you one if you want to start doing water births. But Rona, if you get a chance, can you come on and tell us a little bit about you? Because I'd love to hear your experience as a student of what did you like or love?
Hello, good morning.
Morning.
Sorry, kind of busy here at the clinic today, but okay. Um, we start the clinic, Hope Alive Clinic, I think 2010. So many community that need our help. So I try to figure it out how we can help. So what I did is I talked to someone to like starting to open our clinic. So I'm so happy that we started, and we try our best to do the gentle birth. So I learned that to someone, and that is what we applied here. So for now, because our clinic is temporarily closed, but we're still helping the community by sending to our co-ministry lying in. And so many moms, kids, they worried, they scared, like where we go. So Nicole and I and Dr. Tanya is talking about a place for them. So we call that Shalom. So the requirements, like half of our mamas is past the requirements. So the other mothers that first baby is we schedule them to hospital. Then Blessing, the Camden Church, they're a Christian ministry also. They opened their place for us to send our mothers. And they have a good progress in the clinic now. So maybe 3 weeks to 1 month, we're going to open again.
Awesome. Yeah, the government came in and said, hey, we need you to update some things and go through all these processes and jump through all these hoops. So they're working with the government to do that. But this was your first doula training, right, Rona?
Yes. No, I have doula training before, but it's not like the same what you like what you did to us. This is a very big impact. Yeah, this is a very impact, and it's a challenges to us. Then it's a good training. This is a good training.
What was your favorite
like for
part?
us and the other midwives?
Yeah, what was your favorite part?
the balloon
Mm-hmm.
and the effacement, and then fully deleted and the baby out. That's the first time that I have.
I think your hand's over the microphone.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, so I did the balloon with the ping pong ball and the effacement and the dilation thing. Rona loved it. I had the best pictures of her. And then the other thing that Rona was really great at is we gave like different groups different assignments, and they had to come up with a song to explain what a doula is. And we came up with Mamma Mia, and they changed the lyrics to Mamma Mia to be like basically an advertisement for doulas. And we have a video of it. It's hilarious. But she really like got into it and brought everybody together for sure.
We are so happy, and we started learning in it. Then we started applying also the doula course. So for now, that's what we can do
Awesome.
to help the mamas, um, to advise, and to teach. So we learned a lot from the doulas. And we like, oh, we remember on that. So that is the things like what we can do for now. For now, but Nicole and Dr. Tanya is planning to when we reopen again. So we start doing the doula.
Awesome. That's
So
so
we're gonna
exciting.
apply here in the clinic. Yeah,
So
and
do you need us to come
sorry.
back and help you apply some of that doula skills?
Yes, you
Okay.
have to come back.
All right.
You all have to come back for us.
Okay.
Yeah, because we wanted to learn more, and we're gonna use that. We're gonna use that. It's very helpful for the mother that they have someone doulas with them. They have someone will help them, and they have someone like if their family can't, and it's helping for them to relax. So um, we're gonna wait for you guys to come back in the Philippines and redo again.
Awesome. So what would you tell people about a doula? Like other ladies in the Philippines? Or yeah. What would you tell people about a doula?
Okay, wait ha. Be, sabihan mo nga hinaan mo na. Okay, sorry because I'm in the clinic and
And they're doing construction. Yeah.
we're doing construction. Yeah. Um, I can like it's a barely more on like a family. Like you are there because in the hospital they didn't do that.
Yeah.
So we try to do some of the mothers in Shalom that we are there. So we help them like encouraging them, and for them is to release stress.
Yeah.
Like they're releasing stress, and like we're supporting them and helping them to like relax, no pain. Even they have painful that they have someone like to touch you and telling you what to do.
Yeah.
And if they struggle, then they have to say it like, I want this, then someone is there. So it's not only like a doula, but by the heart.
Do you see that having doulas would help bring education to the moms in your community and the moms you serve?
Yes, I highly recommended on that. Um, a lot of families had a trauma in the hospital, and they have also some in the birthing home or in the birthing clinic that they didn't use doula. So we have like 5 mothers that we helped last week to deliver their babies, and we do the doula. And this is the first time it's happened to us that they have someone that they can feel um, safe. They can feel like love in there, and they can feel like someone is teaching them how to do. Especially our first baby, she's 15 years old.
Wow.
And she like struggled a lot, and we are there to help. So she said to me that my mother is telling me about her birth story, and the mother is she said her mother have a trauma. Then we are there and supporting her, and by spirit also. Then the mother is like, what, why is not happened to us before, if we know it's like less stress for them.
Yeah.
And this 15 years old is feel like very safe,
That's amazing.
and because they don't know what to do, and because of our we apply the doula, so she's following. And I'm shocked because sometimes the teenager is like not easy to listen, but this mother, she feel comfortable.
That's awesome. Anything else you want to share about the training or anything that you learned?
I love the training so much. I always want to like, I will go first. I will go first. I always excited because like days and days we learn a lot and we have a training a lot. Um, I learned the first time is I learned the balloon. That's the first time. Like, oh, we can do the balloon, for example. And like the sharing, like we all together in a circle chair. Then we say something in our experience, and also a contest. Like we have the contest, and we like think direct that we can like we will do this. And about the delivery, like it's for me, it's like if I gonna be pregnant again, I want Dola in my side.
That's a lot. That
Yes.
means a lot coming from a midwife because you
Mhm.
have a college education in this and you deliver how many babies a month?
I have 60 babies a month. So I delivered 4,000 babies already. So we have 444 last last year.
Yeah. Wow. And the fact that you could learn anything from us, Indiana and Kansas girls is amazing. Because we definitely learned a lot from you for sure. So,
I really
and I
want
am
also
coming
to
back.
learn.
I am coming back to work with you, Rona, because you promised me some
I
catching.
can't wait for that. we we have a new midwife that hiring, so we
Mhm.
want them to have a doula training too,
Okay.
and we want to continue this. This is like fixed already, and everything is perfect. Then we're gonna request again to Nicole for the doula training again,
Awesome.
and we want you all guys to come.
Okay.
Yeah, we love the training. We didn't sleep at all. Like we didn't like. It's, sometimes if we have a training, we sleep.
Right.
But that training make us always excited,
Well, here's a
and
good
we
question
learn
for
so
you.
much.
Was Melissa a good teacher?
Yes, yes, of course. Yes,
She doesn't think that she's a very good teacher, so I'm just trying to make sure she
yes,
cares.
of course.
Yeah.
All of you, like all of you. But of course, I have my favorite, but I have to put in my heart. I can't tell her. I can tell here.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah, but promise, I highly recommend it for your team.
Awesome. Yeah,
This is first, second.
I hope it makes a real ripple effect in the Philippines where you ladies can take some of these things, and some of the ladies are doing my online training as well. So they wanted more information and they wanted to like dive in deeper. So they joined me for a month long of training. So several of them are going through additional training and joining me next month for even more training. So I offered them all the trainings for free as well to be able to further their education, to be able to continue to teach that and utilize that in the Philippines. And hopefully there'll be more doulas. So when we went, there was about 20 known doulas in Manila, and Manila has 14 million people. So you can imagine 20 doulas cannot service 14 million people. So hopefully some of you ladies will be able to fill that gap and then continue to produce some more Christ-like, Christ-believing followers that are doula serving these families. So awesome. So Melissa and Shelby, what else do you want to share?
I love you, Rona.
Hello, we miss you. We miss you here.
I had recently listened to, I mean, in continuing ed and listen to podcasts. I feel that along with getting to learn from all these amazing doulas and midwives, it was an honor to be able to, do my first speaking engagement. I'd love to do it again, but just talking about the mind body connection, how that just plays such a profound effect, bringing that into awareness for mamas to be. It's just, I think it's really important. So getting to be a part of a community of just Christ seeking women. I mean, I would do this again if any of you guys are considering going on a GBC mission trip, but yeah.
Awesome. Melissa, do you have anything else you want to share?
No, I can't think of anything.
Okay. I know. So the other island that we went to, they were asking for a doula training because a lot of them, you literally have to take an airplane because they're islands. They weren't able to come unless they had an organization really backing them. And so we hope, and my prayer is that we can go as a team and go back to the other island and have a training that services like a different group of women as well and make it convenient for them. So I'm hoping that that happens in the near future. But do you ladies have any questions about the training or the trip or anything like that for any of our ladies? I know Christina does. Christina always has a question.
I don't know if I necessarily have a question, but this time, but it's just amazing that you guys are just trusting the Lord and going. For me, even the thought of leaving the country, it just is like mind-boggling.
You're so going on one of these trips. You are
She-
so going on.
She's gonna get me one of these days.
Yes.
It's actually it's interesting. I went to Jamaica a couple times as a kid and a teenager with my family and then with a youth group. But I haven't been anywhere else since or as an adult. Um, but I'm just inspired by you ladies. Like y'all are doing it. This is just like it's just amazing. And 4,000 births. Whoa. I just it's just really cool. And I hope that one day we'll get the opportunity to do it.
Yeah, Rona was at class every single day and I had no idea. And then one of the other ladies was like, yeah, she was going to births like 2 or 3 times, like every night she was like up all night at births. And I was like, what? So, like she was in class participating every day, wasn't sleeping.
She is on my list of superhero women.
I know. I'm listening to you talk around. I'm like, oh my gosh, we'd be like best friends. Like your energy and love for women is just so obvious and inspiring, and it's just awesome.
Yes. Rona is super special. I'm so glad she got to come on. You guys got to hear from her. It was funny. She would post pictures and there was other like midwives in the US that I'm friends with that, like Facebook friends. And they'd be like commenting on her post. And I was like, do you know Rona? And they're like, yeah, we know Rona from this or that. And like all of these US midwives know Rona and Rona's never been in the US. And I was just like, yeah, once you meet Rona, you can't forget Rona. So she's awesome. So I will go and do some births with her because I just have to. Like, it's just part of the story now. So, yes. So I don't know. They really say Rona doesn't sleep. So I don't know. I've never met a midwife that busy, but she was in class every day and still delivering babies. So, yeah. She does have a prayer request that I'm going to share on her behalf. Rona has a prayer request that the Lord brings her a husband, and that's what she wants, is a husband who understands midwifery and likes a bigger woman. Because she says, why do the men not want a bigger woman? So,
Oh my gosh, yes, like I'm so excited to be praying about that for you, and I hope, and I'm gonna pray that you find someone who matches your intensity, and supports your intensity. and is someone not so who's supportive, but also someone that you can contend with and grow with, and who is a good spiritual leader too. Like that is, I'm really excited to be praying about that for you.
Yes, we prayed for her as well. So I don't know when she would even find time to date because she's so busy. But Lord, make a way and bring her a, God-fearing man, because Rona deserves that love being poured back onto her that she pours out to everybody else. So
What is the Christian community like in the Philippines? Like how, like, or what is the like kind of religious breakdown of the Philippines?
yeah, so it depends on, and Melissa might know, or Rona might know. Well, Shelby did a bunch of research too, but it kind of divides out between, like, I don't even want to get it wrong. Melissa, Rona, how would you describe the religion in the Philippines? There's Christians and Catholics and Muslims. You have to unmute.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. It's it's hard to say because more on my life is community. Uh, I can see true love, but I can see also black eye. Like so many partners that hurting their wife or live-in partner,
Mm.
and like so many abuse happened here. So for me, I can't, like, I'm scared.
Mm.
I'm scared to find a boy here that I'm not 100% sure if he can take care of me. So I can't. It's hard. It's hard. So only a little bit man that I meet that they love their wife and live-in partner. Most, because I'm in the remote area, so most I saw is abuse. So like the other day, I just helped my neighbor that there are how many days, how many months they're together, and I just found out that that live-in partner is hurting
Mm.
her so much, not only emotionally but physically. Like I can see bruises, but I don't know. She's my neighbor in front of my house, but they're so quiet, and she didn't say any. Then one neighbor came and ran to me and said, "Please help. This girl gonna die." So I'm like, "Who?" So I'm like, "What? Why did you didn't tell me?" Like I did talk to her sometimes,
Yeah.
and she have a big trauma, like a big trauma. And of course, I call the police because I can't do it my own because the guy is very strong and he is very mad. So I called the police and we found out that it's not a love. He raped that girl. I can call that rape because if you love her, you're not pushing to have sex.
Mhm.
And he video and he post in the social media. And this girl, she can't say any because she's so scared. And because of that trauma, she quiet. And when the police come, they catch the man, and she ran to me. Then she sit down in the street with 70 to 80 people watching. She cried so much. And she hugged me and she said, "I'm free."
Mm.
And I don't like hug. But at the time, I can't push her. And I cry because I can feel her.
Mm.
And I'm saying like, why it's always happen? Like we try. I stand because I want to be heard. Not very stand. Sam knows my story. That's why I'm here It's not like protecting, but I want to show these mothers that they have a right to fight. And that day, I feel very like happy to save her. She didn't eat for almost 3 days. And I have the video that my neighbors sent it. And that video is like she cried for help so much and no one came to her house and helped her because everyone are scared. And that day, like everyone saw 70 people's like we need to say, we need to speak up because they have someone. Like if we help together and I speak, I'm saying like, please don't look. You have to say it. You have to help. And that day, we put that man in a jail. And the mother is in my Bible study now. She's in my group.
Awesome. Yeah, I
And
think that just proves that Rona isn't just caring for new moms, that you are like the mom of the community. Like women come to you because they trust you for all things. You're just a pillar in the community. Midwives are pillars in the community of trusted women who care for women. And it's not just babies, but in every situation, they come to you, they trust you.
I'm so happy and blessed. Before, when I asked help, no one came. And now I'm not allowing that. We are here to speak and to stand for them. It's so sad because that's before. Like I until now I'm still like telling myself like why no one helped me? Why I did alone? But that happened is helping me to stand and understand. And now these mothers, okay, I show you. Mag-hi kayo, Mami. Okay. It's holidays, but they have mothers that who came for us because of abuse, and I cannot say no for that. Yes, they said, when you sleep, did you rest? Yes, I am. I am. God give me strength and wisdom. And I'm so blessed to be part of it. And and no matter what, I will stand for them. Yes, we have all the stories beyond, but I use that to help others. So sad because until now it's not fixed. And I'm still bringing it. I'm still have it. But I more trust God. I more give it to Him. That's why I always saying to them, my Wi-Fi connection to the Lord is very stronger. Because of that strength. And now here I am. And I'm so happy for this group. I'm so blessed for the doula. It's changing me a lot. Like I did tell to Nicole, I'm like, this is the first time that I have doula that I feel very safe. Like I really want it. All the mothers that feel that. And I want them to think about no one live or left them behind. And I don't want that happen to them because it's happened to me.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, being emotional a little bit.
No, I appreciate hearing
Thank
how
you for this time.
yeah, how you've utilized your calling to serve the women in your community, and to even be the tiniest little bit part of just knowing you and that journey is awesome. And thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, when you're talking, it reminds me of I don't know if you've read Viktor Frankl's book, A Man's Search for Meaning, but you might enjoy it. And he talks about finding meaning in your suffering. He was a psychologist who was put in the concentration camps, and kind of a way to keep sane was that he observed other people in the camps and kind of like analyzed them and tried to figure out why some people behaved one way and other people behaved another way. And he talks about people finding meaning in their suffering, even in like the midst of like horrific suffering. And Ron, I think you might enjoy his book because you're living out what he says. Um, and I just think it's interesting. So you might enjoy that. It's Viktor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning.
Ladies, team, do you have anything else to add to that? It's hard to follow that for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But I hear that often, like in other communities. I know Alan would share that too, of being more in remote Davao area, that her husband's a pastor, so they moved there so that he could pastor a church. And she serves these women who cannot pay, who want a more of a gentle birth. So she does water birth for them for little to no cost. And then she drives several hours to the city and takes private clients who can pay her fee for water birth so that it can offset their living expenses so she can go back to her community and minister through birth. Thanks, Rona. And so, yeah, I mean, these ladies look to midwives as kind of the woman leader of communities. And that's true here too, like in different communities as well, for sure. But even more so overseas. And Rona is doing amazing, amazing work. And I cannot wait for them to get through all those government hoops and reopen to serve everyone. So Rona is still serving women in every way that she can. While these hoops are being figured out. So it looks a little different because it's not how she's always done midwifery, but she's still serving the community and doing everything that she can to love on those women. And so Christian and Melissa, do you have a better breakdown of like the religions of the Philippines?
Well, I think that they like, as a general rule, I think that they like they believe in God. Like there's not a lot of atheistic type religions, if that makes sense. There's a lot of Iglesia Ni Cristo and Catholic. I think Catholic is probably the biggest, but I think Iglesia Ni Cristo is pretty high too. I don't know exactly what religion that would be considered, but
And then
anyways,
parts of the Philippines are considered Muslim, correct?
yeah, they have. I think it's actually growing quite rapidly. The Muslim population. I can't remember now what it is, but it's much higher than it was when I was there in 11. So it's much higher.
I think it's considered a Catholic nation. And we weren't there long enough, to really know. But from my understanding from talking to some of the ladies, it seems like a very cultural Catholicism where there isn't a lot of relationship and there isn't a lot of going in depth. We worked with the church, and so we attended a church. It was kind of Western, I would say, because they have a lot of teams and a lot of groups and things that come through there. But it was also not in America. So it was kind of a mix of felt familiar, but also there was something that wasn't, Western as well. But so there are churches and you can openly be a Christian, but I would say it's like America where it, our relationship can be watered down, or it can be a religious practice and not a relationship. And so it can be very cultural and not, fruit producing. So
Yeah, I was curious because like trying to find a man who first has like his relationship with the Lord and is walking that out, and you're seeing the fruit of that, because you know, like if you have a relationship with the Lord and you have the Holy Spirit, like abusing a woman isn't an option, you know.
Yeah,
So
I think there was a Bible school really close by, wasn't there? I can't remember if that was devout or I remember driving by and they had words on the side of the building and they weren't in English, but they said that it was a Bible school, like a
mm,
men's school. So maybe she can find a husband there. But yeah. Well, do you ladies have any questions for the team or oh, Alan's trying to buy data right now. That's why she couldn't get on because she didn't have internet because of rainstorm. And so she needed to buy data for her phone. But do you ladies have any questions for the team or Rona or any prayer requests?
I've got one real quick, Shanna. This is for Rona. Hi, Rona. I've enjoyed listening to you. I wanted to know, I don't know if I missed it, but your clinic, is it serving just women? Is it serving just pregnant and childbearing women, or is it for all people?
You're still on mute. Hold on.
This is for maternal babies and mother, but because of I am a part of a big community and I am a
can
president of
everybody else here?
Yeah, I was going to recap for you.
Okay, I am a president of the association, so they know me. So that's why, like because they know that I started the.
Uh-oh.
So you're getting a phone call. So they do serve women and babies and pregnant moms. And it is a clinic, but they just because the government made them do paperwork, they were going to incorporate and become a hospital anyways. So they actually have ground across the street and they're building a full healthcare facility, including a hospital, and there's EMS. And so they'll be able to serve more than just the pregnant population. They will also have a full community hospital that doesn't yell at their like patients, doesn't abuse their patients, and it will be free or a low cost. And so they are in the process of they bought the land and they have the plans and they already broke ground, I believe, on the hospital. But they're still raising funds to be able to build that hospital, and then it will be staffed a lot by missionaries and volunteers as well. But they see a huge need to serve the whole community holistically. And so eventually the clinic will be part of a bigger hospital.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Awesome. Any other questions? All right. Any prayer requests real quick before we pray for Rona?
My daughter's having dental surgery tomorrow. She's 4.
Oh,
So if we could pray for her, that'd be
your
great.
baby?
I'm sorry.
To your baby?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she has her teeth actually like grew in rotten, and you can see like right like the line of where it grew in. It didn't develop properly in her gums. So we just need prayer, and she's so little and sweet. And I'm not a fan of like her going under general anesthesia to get this done. But her dentist, who I do very much trust, was like, I think this is the best way to get this all figured out. So prayers for that would be really awesome.
Okay. Anybody else? Let me grab some real quick. All right. Let me pray for you ladies. Dear Heavenly Father, I just thank you for this group of ladies coming together, and I pray that they're just inspired and encouraged to continue to live out the gifts, talents, and abilities that you've given to them to be able to use that to grow your kingdom. I just want to pray for Christina's daughter as she goes under anesthesia tomorrow, and I just pray that you be with everyone involved, the dentist and the assistants. And I just pray for her and that everything goes smoothly and goes well, and be with Christina as she's just nervous and anxious for it to be done, Lord. And I pray for a quick procedure and quick healing for her little girl. And I just want to lift up Rona and just what a light she is in her community, Father. And I just pray for her that you give her rest in a way that only you can give her rest. Give her sleep that's so deep and refreshing when she gets sleep. And I just pray that you continue to find ways to refill her cup as it continues to pour out constantly, Father. Help her to find that rest in you. I pray that if it is your will, that you bring her a man that loves you, Lord, a man that can lead her, a man that can care for her like she cares for so many in the community, Father. I pray that you prepare that man to be the perfect fit for her and be gentle. Bring her a gentle, strong, quiet man to walk alongside her, Lord. I just thank you for her ministry. I thank you for the clinic and Nicole and the doctor and everything that they're doing, Lord. I pray that the government paperwork and all of the things that need to be done and the fundraising and all of that will be done quickly, and they can reopen their doors to the community, and that every woman that walks through those doors will hear the name of Jesus. We just thank you and praise you for all of these women. In your name, amen. Well, thank you, ladies, so much.
Amen.
And I'm sure that in the years to come, we'll have more stories from the Philippines, from hopefully women in this group. So thank you, Rona.
Thank you. So good to see
Thanks.
you.
Thank you so much. Bye, ladies.
Bye.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.